the Royal Court, they didn't teach you format, they didn't teach you how to write, they just identified your voice.
Yeah. And validated it.
Yeah, and that's really important because you don't get that much. Everyone wants to tell you how to do something. They didn't. So tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I was at that stage where I just knew anything was possible. I mean, I didn't realise how much work it would take, but I just knew it was possible. Publishing one book gave me enough certainty to know that anything was possible if it had truth in it. So when I wrote a play, I sent it to the Royal Court, and my friend said to me, "You've sent it to the Royal Court?" And I said, "Yeah." A bit like my Sharon loves this. He says, when I wrote a musical, she said, "I love it when you tell people you've wrote a musical because they'll go, 'Musical?' Like you've written a musical?" And it was like, he went, "Royal Court?" He said, "That's the biggest theatre in the world for new writers." I said, "Yeah, that's why I've sent it there."
Brilliant.
And it's like you should start off low. I thought, well, if I'm starting at the Royal Court, of course I'm gonna write to the best of my ability. So I sent it to the Royal Court, and I had a phone call from them and said, "Are you in London often?" And I said, "I can be in London today. I can be in London tomorrow." And they said, "Oh, we'd love to have a chat with you." Anyway, I went down, and they said, "This is really, really great." It was because I sat in this room with a guy called Graham Wybrow and another guy called Dominic, who were like the artistic directors at the Royal Court. And they were sat in this room, and they said, "See this room? It was just wall-to-wall manuscripts." And I said, "We get thousands of manuscripts from all around the world every year." She said, "We're able to take, we only find a handful of voices each year, and yours is one of them. And we'd like to invite you to the writers group and come in and work for us over the next 6 months." And that's what we did. Again, it wasn't lessons. It was just helping you to identify the voice and sit on the voice and not move from the voice. And they did this amazing exercise, Paul. You've got like paper like this. So you imagine that's like 20 pages like that.
Yeah.
And they said each one of these pages is a page from a well-known playwright, but there's no names on. It doesn't tell you who wrote it. It doesn't tell you the name of the play. It's just pages from these playwrights. He said, this is how we identify the voice. He said, "We should be able to throw these on the floor, and you should pick up any one, and you should be able to know the voice and the author. You should know the author just from the voice. So just from reading the words, their voice should be so individual that you know it just from picking up that paper." And everyone picked up a piece of paper. I picked one up, and I read it, and I said, "That's Jim Cartwright." And it was. Oh, wow. His voice was so distinct. Nice. He said, "That's what we're looking for. You find your voice, it's unique to you, and you sit on it, and you don't deviate from it." He said it's so rare, but it can be easily lost. It's not, you wouldn't lose it later. You can lose it at the beginning. Like I wrote Watch My Back, and then I lost it. Then I had to recapture it again. And then I learned my lesson from that, never to lose it again, So I love that exercise of like a voice. The voice is a gift, really. It's one of those happy accidents. Yep. And you tend to find it when you do lots and lots of writing. Suddenly it'll click in. I remember reading some stuff to Sharon and said, "Oh, have a listen to this, Sharon." It was from a play I wrote called Three Sacks Full of Hats. I said, "Have a listen to this." And as I started to read it, I started to cry and started sobbing. And I didn't know why. It was just so emotional. And she said, "Oh, you need to make sure that goes on." And it was a play about my brother dying from alcoholism. But there was just lines in there and phrases that I didn't know I knew. And that was the kind of thing, that's the kind of thing you've got to identify and stay with. And I think for a while I was exposed to so many great writers. I think for a while I tried to be Jim Cartwright. Mm-hmm. I think I tried to be Jimmy McGovern. I think for a while I tried to be Paul Abbott. And, people like Paul Abbott and Jimmy McGovern and Jim will kick you back into the centre and just say, just stick on your own voice because that's what's unique. You don't want to be a second or third rate version of me. Yeah. No, just stay on your own voice.
Yeah. And that comes through doing the work.
Doing the work, yeah.
You identify, because all of us have heroes in our own chosen art form. I've had directors that I've really admired, and my early work was trying to imitate them. But it was through doing the work that you
find your own sound.
Yeah, because then there's no other director like David Lynch. There's no other director like Terry Gilliam. They haven't. I mean, although they've been inspired by others. Yeah. Through doing their own work.
And you can see their flavours in there, but they've got their own unique voice.
They've developed their voice through doing their own work.